All right, this is a work session of the Greenbelt City Council. My name is Emmett Jordan. I serve as the mayor. Council, could you please introduce yourselves?
Kristen Weaver, Mayor Pro Tem.
Jenny
Although,
Pompey, council member.
I think council room is muted.
And the room is muted.
I think council room is muted, and so,
Jenny Pompey, council member.
Frankie Fritz, council member.
Amy Niesel, council member.
Silky Pope, council member.
Okay, and Council Member McKinney, is she online?
she's on her way. She was
way.
running a few minutes late, but she's on her way.
Well, let me just say this. We hold these, well, first, do we have any information items for the end of the meeting? I'm not seeing any. So let me just say that we hold these work sessions and council meetings Mondays and Wednesdays several times a month to you'll hear from advisory boards, from staff, the public. It helps us to make decisions and to be well informed. We don't take actions, formal actions at work sessions. So also it provides, we do have room for public comment. So if you are in the room, a member of the public that's not actually testifying, if you raise your hand, we'll pause periodically. When you raise your hand, you can go over to the podium. You need to state your name and give us an address. If you are listening on Zoom, you can pose a written question using the Q&A tab at the bottom of the screen. Or you can raise your virtual hand, and after being promoted, you'll still need to provide a name and some kind of an address. We need that for the public record for the minutes. We don't take anonymous comments. And if you're watching on cable TV or on Facebook or YouTube, just send us an email. The address is greenbeltmd.gov. So during the public comment, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. And as always, we ask that you are civil and respectful of one another in your comments. So that's going to bring us to the work session itself. And tonight, we're pretty far along in the budget process. So this evening, we're actually speaking with a number of groups, organizations that serve Greenbelt residents, talking about their budget request, and just actually giving them a chance to say a few words. I guess it was about 7 or 8 years ago, we put into place a review process, a panel of residents that work with our staff in recreation and the arts to review the proposals. There's a formal proposal that needs to be filled out with information about budget, the number of people that are served. So tonight, I think we're focusing in on the athletic related groups. Maybe not, but Greg Varda is representing staff tonight to help us move through this application process. But first, let me say hello to our city manager, Josue Samaron. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Good evening, residents and recognition groups for joining us. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the acknowledgement. We are joined tonight by Mr. Greg Varda, Director of Recreations, and Deputy Clerk, Ms. Lashley Mullen. So we're excited to be here tonight.
Okay, fantastic. Mr. Varda, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about this process? I think I'm recalling we've had this in place for about 7, 8 years now.
Yeah, the recognition group program goes back many, many years, but we kind of changed it to the grant review panel process. You're right, probably 7 or 8 years ago. So Greenbelt provides in-kind and financial support to a broad array of Greenbelt-based not-for-profit groups. These groups have ongoing cultural, athletic, recreational, civic services, and social opportunities they provide to the residents. This year, we have over 50 recognition groups. Tonight, you're going to meet with about half of the groups that are requesting funding. We have 2 avenues for funding, and that's project grants, which are to help meet expenses associated with discrete, time-limited programs spanning less than 12 months. And they would include things like festivals, tournaments, artists and residencies, and specific community service initiatives. And then we also have operational grants, and they are to help to meet with both the services and facility rent, utilities, fundraising expenses, marketing costs, supplies, and equipment. So this year, the city received 15 applications for funding. Our budget was $122,200, and the funding request was $199,307. So we had a gap of $77,107 we had to make up. What we did is we had two avenues to make up that gap. We did a budget tier adjustment. There's a table in the memo, and after doing that, the gap was down to $26,000, and then we did the scoring adjustment, and after doing that, we were able to balance the budget and provide council with a recommendation, so that every group, not every group got exactly what they wanted, but every group received some funding. The grant review panel was made up of Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Have to help me with this acronym because it changed, ACAPS.
ACAPS.
Yes, I can't remember what it stands
Advisory
for.
Committee Advancing Public Safety.
The Arts Advisory Board, Community Relations Advisory Board, and the Advisory Committee on Education. They assessed out all the applications. They provided a score for each applications. We took that score and took the average of that score, then we put it into the system, into the tiered adjustments, and that's how we came up with the, you're provided in the memo. I believe these recognition groups make up the fabric of the community. They foster social connection, emotional support, a sense of belonging, which I believe directly improves the community's health in many ways. They provide collective strength for personal development, foster resilience against adversity, and create self-inclusive spaces. Additionally, these groups allow for sharing knowledge, resources, and sometimes drive local action. So with that, Mayor, we are already behind schedule. I'm happy to answer any questions, so you might want to get into it.
I appreciate it so much. So let's go ahead. I think we have 8 different organizations, 7 or 8 organizations to speak with tonight. And first of all, who do we have? It's
Soccer Alliance.
Soccer Alliance. So are there a couple of representatives of this? Please come on up to the table.
It's page 7 on the memo, too, with the grant review panels.
Okay. So welcome. It's great to have you here. Could you introduce yourselves? And we kind of know you, but
Yeah. My name is Jonas Cadwallader. I am the general manager for the current spring season, also the board president, and yeah, pretty much a lot of other hats I wear, but those are the 2 main ones.
Yeah, and I'm Scott Borg. I'm the board vice president.
well, fantastic. Thanks for joining us tonight. Why don't you give us a quick update or a quick summary of your application?
Sure. When we were preparing this, the season is just getting started, so we actually have updated numbers. So this particular season we're on right now, we actually did see growth like we anticipated in the write-up. We ended up with 149 unique players this season, of which, if you round up from 49.9, which I do, 50% of them were Greenbelt residents. Coming up very soon, probably too soon for my liking, is the preparation for our summer season. Roughly, we anticipate about 34 players, about more than 50% will probably be Greenbelt residents.
That's fantastic. So what's different this coming year than last year?
I think for us, it's very similar. We were here last year together, so the management team has not really changed. I think one thing that is changing is that the World Cup will be hosted in the United States this year, and so we anticipate growth of soccer both before July of this year and also probably after July of this year. That's a huge change, and we anticipate positive growth for soccer throughout all of the United States, but mostly also here in Greenbelt.
One of the FIFA games is being played around here. So is it in D.C. or Baltimore? Or South Philadelphia. That's not so far. So one question that I have is just in terms of where you're practicing and where you're actually playing the matches. I hope you've been to see the new soccer fields over in Shrom Hills Park.
We have actually. We've been practicing there twice a week since the beginning of this season, which was, geez, what day was that? Was that April? Yeah, and we've been working closely with the Parks Department, particularly Patrick Mullen, to get the fields open and available. Those fields are pristine, they're beautiful. The kids really enjoy playing them. Only problem is just I can only run one practice there before it gets too dark for practice. So great fields, we love them, and we hope that we're taking good care of them.
Yeah, thank you so much. And the matches are all over. None of the matches are going to be in Greenbelt, right?
Two seasons ago, and also last season, we talked about having a game in Greenbelt, and so I'm hoping to have, after our last practice week, to have a game kind of like an expo, and we do have an extra week on the permit for that. So I have not scheduled the exact day yet. I need to talk to the teams and see if they would prefer to do a scrimmage or play. Sometimes some of the groups we have two teams, so maybe it'd be two teams go against each other instead of just a scrimmage. So I will let you guys know when you can attend that.
Fantastic. Council, do you have questions? Yes, please.
Well, and I think we have put in, did we put that in as our bond request, the lights for Shrom as one of them?
We did for last year.
For
and
last year.
And we've also sent the request to the county for $400,000 for lights.
So
Additional.
possibly in a couple of years, we'll have lights on those nice new fields on Shrom. But actually, I didn't have a question. I actually just I appreciated your detailed methodology for calculating spectators by the counting cars and everything. So I thought it was, it's fairly similar to last year, but I don't think that, I don't remember that from last year, but it caught my attention. I just wanted to say, I appreciated that math. So that's it, no questions.
Other thoughts or comments, please, council member?
I just was curious, you talked about the percentage of Greenbelt residents. Of the percentage that are non-Greenbelt residents, are they mainly coming from our neighboring jurisdiction, or are they coming further, or things like that?
So I have a cue card for that.
See how I set you up for that?
You did. There was no collusion, though, I promise. So I'm going to call it the Big 12.
Okay.
The other locations that we serve are Laurel, Riverdale, Beltsville, Berwyn Heights, Bowie, Clinton, College Park, Glen Arden, Glendale, Hyattsville, Lanham, and New Carrollton. It is. It's interesting because many of these jurisdictions have competing programs, and so we feel like really positive that they would go on a little bit of a hike to come and play with us.
Yeah, one of the really interesting things, especially about Greenbelt, is we do training twice a week, whereas some of the other outstanding kind of jurisdictions, they only do. So a lot of the families see a lot of value in coming to Greenbelt Soccer because we do have that extra training session. Start our training sessions a couple of weeks. A lot of the, outlying, neighborhoods like really kind of are flocking towards Greenbelt Soccer, but also, the success of the teams as well. We've got great volunteer coaching staffs. Most teams this year got a head coach and 2 assistant coaches, and then also parent, participation as well. So, it's garnered a really kind of beautiful, safe, and kind of an environment where the kids themselves can excel.
Councilmember Pope?
Yes, so I remember when this first started, and I can't believe it's been so many years, and it's ended up being so successful in our community as well. So thank you for all your good work, and I'm happy to hear that the kids are excited and that we have such a far reach to join the program. So thank you very much.
I did tell David that you asked after him.
You did?
He's a Globetrotter now, so he's not here as much as he used to be.
Oh, okay, I see. Well deserved.
Okay, Councilmember Niesel.
I just want to give a little bit of historical context that the teams used to practice in New Carrollton. So while it may seem like, oh, well, it's Greenbelt soccer, why are only 50% Greenbelters? It was a very concerted effort to enroll kids from other places in the county. So that's a really, really good success marker, actually.
Yeah, and at the moment, our training sessions on the Monday and the Wednesday, they are split between Shrom Hills and in New Carrollton as well. New Carrollton.
Okay, Mr. Varda, what did the review committee, if you can
Sir.
just point out a couple of highlights from what they said?
Sure. So briefly, the GSA, Greenbelt Soccer Alliance, received $4,000 in FY26. Their request is for $4,000 in FY27. The attendant use of requested funds is $35 Greenbelt resident registration discount. The grant review panel findings were a memorable experience for players and families. They were well-established, have good leadership, and many volunteers. They seem very organized, have some financial reserves, and may not need funding in the amount requested. For the, let's see here. So the Greenbelt Soccer Alliance, given the two-tier system to bring it within budget, landed at an adjustment of $3,300 for FY 2027.
Hey, thank you so much. You know, we wish that we had enough resources to fund every request that comes in. Your organization's doing great work, and to actually have observed it over a number of years from where it was first proposed to where it is now. It's a real tribute to the volunteers and to the coaches and to the families and to everybody that's helped to bring it to this point. So that's where we are pretty much. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I just want to, say, well, I think Scott has a few things to add. I just want to say, that the city has been a great partner for us, and I think it's a testament that we're still talking about the program since 2011. And I think me and Scott, the way we look at it is we're just keep trying to build it. And I think one of the things that one of the feathers in our cap, that we weren't able to say last year, we can say this year, is that we won an award at the march.
At the marches, the last one.
Which we felt really great about. And Scott was kind of the tip of the spear on that effort. Yeah. And so if you want to add it.
Yeah, no, I was just actually what I was going to say relates to the Labor Day parade. I remember 2 years ago was the first time that we did it, and I think the first year we had like 40 people walking in the parade, and then last year we had close to 60 people walking in the parade. And so this year, hopefully, we can even build those numbers up more. And at the end, in the viewing area, we hope that we can get all of you guys to come and score a goal as well. So,
So you got time to practice.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate your application and all that you do for Greenbelt. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So at this time, we're going to move to the Greenbelt Municipal Swim Team. Welcome. And let me just say, go Barracudas. So, thank you for your application. Thank you for just the number of people, families that you serve in Greenbelt and the surrounding areas. So tell us just a little bit about your application, how it's different than last year, and what some of the goals might be this year.
Hello, everyone. I'm Liz Murray. I am new to the presidency for Greenbelt Municipal Swim Team. I'm taking over for our previous president who was on the board for 3 years. So I'm new to this process, so I appreciate your patience as I kind of wade through it.
I'm Christine Nickel. I'm the treasurer.
As you know, we've been in the Greenbelt community since 1957, so we are a long-running organization. We consistently have solid numbers every year, even during COVID, when everything was kind of iffy as to whether or not we could get in the pool. We still had decent numbers, and we're still kind of rebuilding back from that. Last year's remodeling or maintenance to the pool facility, the Greenbelt Aquatic and Fitness Center, affected our team in that we didn't have enough space or lanes to have our developmentals group, which is the youngest age group that we can have. So our team was smaller last year. We're actually including that program again this year, so we will have a full range from probably 4 years to 18. So that should increase our numbers as well this year. Also having the pool, not having the indoor space, there was a lot of compromise and working with the pool to really like, what are their needs, what are our needs? And so we were only able to have one home meet. That home meet is when we have concessions, and we historically have made decent amount of fundraising with that. Only having one home meet last year really affected us. So thankfully this year we have 3 home meets to make up for that. So in answer to your question about how our application has changed from last year to this year, obviously we're asking for the same amount of money that we asked for last year, just because we are trying to rebuild the team after the pool shut down. And we have a really great community. There's always good support. There's tons of new kids coming in all the time. Yeah.
So the money that you grant us every year, it goes to pay our coaching staff. So the pool, I mean, the team is primarily operated by volunteers. So I am the HR department and a lot of other things, and it's all volunteer run, with the exception of the paid coaches.
Yeah.
Right now, the coaching staff we have is somewhere between 50 and 75% Greenbelt residents as well. So not only are our swimmers Greenbelt residents, but our coaches are also Greenbelt residents. So that's what the money has historically gone to, is paying the coaching staff over the summer. So we do our best to operate within the grant budget. So this year, this summer, we're operating on the first time on the lower amount, which is, so we may have to go into our, we have reserves. So we budgeted for that possibility and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But that's why we were asking again for the amount we've been asking for multiple years now. We are trying to increase fundraising. Like Liz mentioned, the number of home meets was down, so that decreased it. We are currently in conversation with the Greenbelt baseball, I guess that's what they're, on helping them with the bingo at the Labor Day Festival. We're trying to work all that out. We have never done this before, but that was a way for us to kind of, on our own, increase funding and kind of cover the gap with the decrease in the grant from the $10,000 down to $8,000 for this summer.
Well, thank you very much. It's exciting. 3 home meets this year. I do everything I can to support the team by taking advantage of the concessions. So I'm a fan of the nachos and hot dogs. So, Council,
Gotta get 'em.
the tacos, definitely. Council, do you have questions or thoughts that you'd like to share? Councilmember Pope or Niesel? Niesel?
Really thankful that the pool is open and we can have more home meets here, because some of the pools we swim are really far away, and as a swim team parent, it's nice to not have to drive an extra hour early on a Saturday morning.
We're very thankful that we can have that cooperation with the Greenbelt Aquatic and Fitness Center. It's very key having that solid, good relationship. So.
We were also very grateful for how well they worked with us last year. Like,
Yeah.
we had a season, even with the pool closed, so that, the end of
Yeah.
the pool closed. So we very appreciative, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, fantastic.
So I was swimming, I went to the pool yesterday after my workout, and I saw these little tiny kids. And they're just amazing. I mean, they jump right in there, and there's no worries, like how deep, no worries. They just went in there. This little tiny girl, I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna drown, right? Nope, but she went right for it. So it was very interesting. So I saw them a few times, but yesterday that was funny.
We have to give kudos to our coaches. They are really great and amazing, especially with the younger group. But they're all great. So
Yeah, I
we're
saw
very
them, I
lucky.
mean, in action, so really fantastic.
And the majority of our coaches, in fact, all right now, if I'm remembering correctly, but 2 grew up swimming on the team.
Yeah.
So we have a track where we sort of are training our volunteers into becoming,
Our coaches.
into becoming our coaches. So they're giving back, we're giving back. It's like a whole, it's very community centered and building up these young people as well.
It's great. And the kids are just so disciplined. You can tell them to do podcasts. It was really nice to see. So thank you.
Mr. Varda, what did the review committee, a couple of highlights from what they said?
Yeah, FY '26, they received, municipal swim team received $8,000 in city support. They are requesting $10,000 for FY '27. The attendant uses for summer coach salaries. Review findings were strong resident participation, formative and enduring impact to benefit the community. Need for city support may be somewhat lower due to available reserves. In the chart, the recommended funding for the swim team would be $8,300.
Thank you. Quick question. So how, the relationship with the other pool, the other team, how's that coming along?
Yes, so Severn Crossing, we had developed a relationship with Severn Crossing. It was a pool out in Bowie. Some of our members are from there. Last summer, they got a new board and determined that unless you were a Severn Crossing Homeowners Association member, you could not swim there. So there was a little bit of chaos that went on. That's why when we had discussions and had asked for those extra, we had spoken with you guys. We said we always can't guarantee Severn Crossing. It was great because they didn't let us swim. So we still have the children and the families from there, but we no longer have access to their pool. There's some internal issues on their homeowners association board.
Yeah, I mean, that's not unusual. A number of the homeowners associations here in Greenbelt, the management companies, it's a liability thing. So if you talk to the residents that live there, they'd say, great. When you talk to the management company, they're going to say, oh, we can't really do that. Hey, well,
But not
Not
surprising.
Greenbelt residents. Not us. Not our swim team. No, it was, they just had a turnover on their board.
right. Hey, when's the first meet in Greenbelt?
First meet is June
13th.
Yes, June 13th.
June 13th, it is a home meet.
Please come.
Please, yeah.
Okay.
It's free to come to the swim meet. Come cheer on your local teenagers and young people as they show off their skills. So
What time? I'll add it to council's Outlook calendar.
So
6 a.m. till noon, 7 a.m.
No, I guess
when
the
does it
meet
start?
the meet
8.
starts at 8.
8.
Yeah.
We're, sorry, we're there at 6.
Yeah, so
the meet starts
the
at
meet
8.
Starts at,
8
the
to
meet
noon.
starts 8 to noon, and
Yeah.
we try to clear out of there quickly so
Yeah.
Stephen can have his pool back.
11:30.
Bring my appetite. Any other questions from council? Thoughts? Thank you so much for all.
Welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So next up, what do we have? We got Cheers. Cheers. Send your designees to the table, and if you want to have some of your volunteers and participants behind you, that's great as well. This Cheers has an entourage. Hey, everybody, how you doing? You can stay right there if you want. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. They're online?
I'm not seeing anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also sent a PowerPoint. I don't know if it's
I don't know.
there. Is it?
Shania has a PowerPoint. Shania has the PowerPoint. She'll put it on the screen.
Okay, Maggie. Yeah.
Put the PowerPoint on the screen.
So pull up a chair. It is so nice to see you tonight. But
You also.
for the record, could you do some introduce yourselves?
Yeah.
Welcome.
You guys start by introducing yourselves, please.
Sure.
Thanks.
I am Carolyn Lambright Davis, convener of the Cheers Board, and behind me, they are.
Earth Squad. All right. You want to say your names?
You'll each say your name. Yeah. Just quick.
Say it loud. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Well, Justin's.
Yeah, all J's pretty much. Okay, and we got Jennifer Dudley and Bill. So, yeah. And Maggie Cahalan.
Maggie, yeah.
Fantastic.
Nice to meet
Okay, so it looks like you have a PowerPoint. If you want to go ahead and roll the PowerPoint, I was just going to ask you, well, you know, what's different this year than last year, and what sort of big plans do you have coming up?
I guess I have this PowerPoint, and we want to say thank you. That's one of our first things that we really want to say. If you could, I don't know who's moving this, but okay, yeah. And we do our acknowledgement that we're on the territory of the Nanticoke and Piscataway tribes. Go to the next slide. And we also want to say that this is a special time when we feel like we want to have a renewed commitment to human rights, and which in many ways it seems to be under attack right now. And just to say that we stand strong for inclusion, equity, and diversity, and environmental justice. You can go to the next slide. We want to say that this is a picture of the Earth Squad from a few years ago. And in a way, the Earth Squad is one of our most signature projects, I would say. This started, I think, in 2015, and we've continued with it. So you can go to the next slide. This is the Cheers is a 501c3 that's we started in 2006. This is our 20th year as a 501c nonprofit, and we think of ourselves as a collective impact group. And we partner with other groups in the city of Greenbelt, but also other places as well. So can go to the next one. And this is a list. We have 9 projects, and I think maybe we'll start with Carolyn. Do you just want to talk a little bit about the Three Sisters Gardens and then the Earth Squad? And we're not going to spend a lot of time on all 9 projects, but no problem. Just wanted you all to know that we have these 9 projects.
Well, the Three Sisters Gardens, there are 3 in the city, one in Schramm, one in Center, and the other one is at the West. The Earth Squad, we primarily work out of the West, but we also, anytime you need a volunteer, we work with the school. Ms. Pope, we love pulling weeds, but we design, we plant, we maintain the gardens, and then we harvest. We did something very special this year because we're a demonstration garden, is that we've used some different things. Can you hold it up? One of you has it. We're planting tomatoes and toilet paper rolls. So we've asked the community, and we're planting grapes in cartons. So we're doing really interesting things. We got another volunteer today. We have 2 little ladies that come and whatnot. But each garden, even though we're one project, they're doing something different. And our volunteer base is increasing in the center. And at Schramm, we have new coordinators. This is Nirvan and Lucy. And Jennifer's at the center along with Maggie. And Bill and I are the west side. So we're thriving, and lots of things on the horizon. The one thing that you want to remember with Cheers is that we're collaborative. We like to collaborate, and that's what we've done for the last 20 years. So very proud to be on this board.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
You've been trying to help support Greenbelt Grows, and that's one of the things that we hope we can do programming for. Do you want to just say it?
Come over to the mic.
Very good, yeah. It'll light up red when you speak. Okay. There's that button on there.
Mike.
Jennifer, what did you do to that microphone?
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Thank you. So Greenbelt Grows is an initiative that we're happy to be partnered on. We're excited about the mobile food hub that's coming, and there's a course that I'll be administering that starts tomorrow about food sanitation. So we're excited about that. We're excited also that the Great Food Transition Project and the Three Sisters Project are going to be working together to try to have some of the food at the Great Food Transition Project be provided from here in Greenbelt, which I think is a really interesting and exciting prospect, having us get together, having community members be able to get together around a meal that's cooked here in Greenbelt, grown here in Greenbelt. So yeah, that's where we are with that right now, and I'm proud that Cheers is a part of that initiative.
Fantastic, fantastic. So the amount that you've requested, will that be split among all the different programs, or is it? It's a project one, yeah.
Yeah, and pull the mic back or use the other one.
No, there's two. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you could move it, just keep moving it till I say stop. Yeah, so the money that go back, that we requested, we support all the projects, all those 9 projects, but the one that we're focused on this year is for what we call the Great Food Transition Project. And this is a project that we started a couple of years ago to try to really empower ourselves to have knowledge related to our personal eating, and thinking that in terms of our own health, but also the planet health in terms of trying to focus on low environmental impact foods. And so we got a small grant from the Greenbelt Community Foundation to support beginning to rent the commercial kitchen and to sponsor monthly workshops. And we typically have people who might know a lot about a certain topic. For example, we've sponsored workshops on acorn processing or diabetes eating and different topics. And the thing that makes this a good project is that it involves people coming together and cooking in the kitchen together. And in order to do that, we had to have a volunteer trained as a safe cert person. And Jennifer is doing this also in a special thing for the city, but 2 years ago, we didn't have anybody who was really able to do this. So Geraldine Adams took the course, and she's been our sort of food manager that we have. And she's also taught courses in nutrition for this project. So the request that we had was really to sponsor honorariums for 6 of the 12 sessions, and then also some of the food for some of the sessions. This Cheers, of course, pays the city to rent the kitchen, and we'll continue to do that. And then we also found that in order to rent the kitchen, we had to increase our liability insurance by $500. We continue to do that. So we had a grant from the Chesapeake Bay Trust that covered this funding for years. And so this year, that grant ended, and so we're requesting this from the city support. So.
Fantastic. Appreciate that. It's a very thorough explanation. So many programs going on here. Mr. Varda, what did the review panel have to say about the request?
Sure. Cheers received no funding. They were basic certification in FY26 for last year, or the year we're in now. And FY27 request is for $1,800. The intended use is instructor honoraria and food for 6 Great Food Transition Workshops, which is part of a monthly series. The reviewers' findings were well aligned with program mission, high level of resident engagement, good value, speak to the general health and wellness of the Greenbelt community and the environment as a whole. They have a well-established history of success and committed leadership and volunteers. Programs are designed to have lasting impacts, may have sufficient funds to offer the program without city support. Given the request is for $1,800, and given the reduction, the recommendation from the department is for $1,500.
Okay, so there's definitely a recommendation to fund. You know, your organization does such great work with volunteers, so much volunteer-driven organization, but still very, very impactful in so many ways. Mayor Pro Tem?
I just wanted to ask, because I think when you talk about participant numbers and the percentage, it looks like you're talking about like the Earth Squad and the Green Man Festival in terms of the percentage Greenbelt residents. But since this funding is specifically for this project, do you have a sense of how many of the people who attend specifically the Greenbelt Food Transition Project are Greenbelt residents? You may not track it specifically, but do you have a sense of how many you think are actually?
Say it's probably somewhat higher than certainly most of the people that come are Greenbelt residents, yeah.
So maybe like, do you think, like 90% or so?
Yeah, probably 90%, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, other questions or thoughts? Yes, council member, please.
I just want to thank Cheers. You all are just such a great partner with the city. And one of the things that I think is so beneficial for the organization, looking at it from the other side, there's an immediate return on investment, right? So you are helping people to grow food, to understand food, so that they can actually save on their dollars, raise what they need to raise, and I think that that's fantastic. And so there's not only the partnership piece of it, but it's like, what are you giving people so that they can be self-sufficient and then ultimately give back to the community? So I just want to say thank you. Eat, yes, absolutely.
Councilmember Pompey.
I'm just impressed. I'm always impressed how every year you come here and you have new programs. And I think that's really pretty inspiring that you are, you're able to maintain your core mission and expand what you're doing. And I think that's really just very cool. And I'm always excited to see what you're going to do next. So, yeah, very impressive.
Well, these kids are the ones who are inspiring us to do whatever we do, really, in the end.
Yeah, Councilmember Pope.
Yes, and I just wanted to mention that too. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time you spent, because I know you spend a lot of time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
One of the things that Carolyn is always saying is that kids come back. The Earth Squad kids come back. So that.
Hey, would anybody from the Earth Squad like to just say something real quick about why you think the Earth Squad is Cheers is important? Anybody want to say anything? Come on up.
How many of you is it the first time you've been in the council chamber? Can you raise your hand if it's the first time you've been in the council chamber? Okay. So the others of you have been for something before? Well, I'm glad you're here for the first time.
Definitely.
They'll tell me tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, Miss Pope, you can report back to us.
I'll be the middleman here.
Just, I know we're going to just flick back to the end, to the last slide. So we just want to say thank you, the whole Cheers board. Thank you for all the really great support and patience. And we're, to some extent, we have these new programs, but we're making it up as we go along. And we really appreciate the city's sometimes forbearance with us. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any special activities coming up in the next week?
Well, there is one. Green Man Festival.
Green Man Festival.
Yes.
And the Green Man will be here to visit about 9 o'clock with his with their annual parade, just kicking things off, I guess, about 10? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So many things. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work, Earth Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say that 2 new members of our board came by, and Nirvan and Lucy, and just introduce you to them. And we're delighted because, as you can see, well, I'm speaking for myself, Cheers is, some people on Cheers are aging. And we're so delighted that we have some new, younger people on our board and working with us. So, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey, it's 7:45, so we need to go ahead and move to the Greenbelt Farmers Market.
Mayor, if I may, the farmers market is a basic certification. You'll be meeting with a few groups that do not request funding, but they do have a high level of in-kind support, and
Right.
the farmers market is one of them. So you won't see, and you'll see their basic cert application in here. It was not reviewed by the grant review panel.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Hey, fantastic. We've got 2 representatives of the Greenbelt Farmers Market here. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, Scott Fifield. I'm the president of the board.
And Suzette Egan's SNAP coordinator.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting in the certification to become a recognition group. I'm just wondering why you hadn't put in before to do that. The relationship between the city and the farmers market has been very, very strong, and in terms of the facilities and just helping out where we can.
They've been a recognition group for a long time. They don't request any funding, just in-kind
okay.
support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So, thank you. So, the farmers market is coming up in 2 weeks, I guess?
No, also Sunday.
Sunday, this Sunday.
We're a nice bridge from the Cheers, so they've learned how to make food, and we're providing the food.
Okay. Anything, different from last year to this year? And with the SNAP benefits, is that program changing in any way as a result of changes from the federal government?
Yeah, I anticipate that there will be less SNAP recipients and less SNAP dollars being used based upon the cuts made in the federal government.
It's a shame.
But in terms of what's different at the market, we lost both of our beer and wine vendors. They chose not to return this year. And one other vendor chose not to return, but we do have 3 new vendors. We've got a farm that's based in Bowie. We've got a cookie vendor that's based in Greenbelt Station, and a flower vendor based in Beltsville. So,
Nope, Washington DC.
oh, they send me things that are based in Beltsville, so
Oh.
I thought they were based there. But yes,
Okay.
they may live in Washington.
Maybe they both.
Flower vendor.
Flower vendor. Yeah, one of the vendors that we lost was Agrippina in Bloom that was selling flowers for part of the year last year. So we were scrambling over the last 2 weeks, and we found another flower vendor to replace them, at least for the first 8 weeks of the market.
Now, how does it work with the vendors? There are some that come once a month. Most of them are there every week, and some every other week. Or how does that work?
Yeah, so in our application, we offer both options. This year, we have only 4 vendors, so 2 pairs that are alternating weeks. And then one of our vendors, Glade Link from up in Frederick County, they choose not to start their season till July 5th. So that leaves 8 weeks of 2 big spaces. So typically what we've been doing is vendors that we can't fit in for the whole season, we've been saying, hey, would you like to work for the first 8 weeks? So that's what we're doing with the flower vendor and the farm from Bowie this year, Healing Hands Farm. And if they do well, we'll continue to call them back when other vendors are out for a week. Otherwise, most of our vendors are weekly, and that's easier for Julie to control, I guess you could say.
That's fantastic. So just in all the vendors have to be local, more or less. And Frederick's, kind of
Within
Frederick's
100
local to me,
miles.
within 100 miles.
Or I think it's within Maryland or within 100 miles is the way it's worded in the application.
So Frederick's probably the furthest away, but it's not so far away at all.
We have two that are right on the Delaware border on the eastern shore. I would say they're probably a little further away.
Further, yeah. Councilmember Pope.
Yeah, so I think one of the beer vendor, I think they opened a brick and mortar somewhere, so that was their, yeah, that's unfortunate, because he was really
Knew
good.
that
Yeah.
from last season, but the other vendor surprised us that they didn't apply this year.
That's unfortunate. And then the bread and cheese vendor, I'm glad that he's still here, because that's where I'm getting my bread. Bourbon Heights just had Bourbon Heights Day, and there were a few vendors, and there was a lady, she's selling her honey. She has beehives. She lives in Bourbon Heights, yes. And she was very sad that she was not part of our market this year. So just to mention that, maybe. And I said, well, maybe next year. But yeah, thank you so much for doing it. I love the market, so I'll definitely be there on Sunday.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Everyone's welcome.
Opening bell, 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
And you're still looking for a few volunteers, right?
Yes, particularly on Sunday afternoons.
I got to check my schedule, but I may pitch in if you still need folks. Councilmember McKinney, you're wringing your hands. You're kind of worried. Oh, go ahead, please.
So with it being Sunday, are you like ready to go? Or are there things that the city can still support with to make sure you are up and ready for Sunday? Or
Well, Suzette is going to check that the electricity's on tomorrow.
Way to give me work, Scott.
And, we're still using the storage area that you gave us last year after we had to vacate the basement of the pool. And so
really like the new location.
we do. We asked that they remove the snow materials from there. I think it's not going to snow anymore. So we'll see if that has happened by Sunday. But otherwise, we like the location there.
Like it better.
We like it better, yes.
That's fantastic, yeah.
And, the city puts out the barrels for us to keep the people from parking, and they're the people we call if people ignore the barrels and choose to park there anyway, which, on the morning of Green Man Festival, you've got a lot of new people around, and so that's one of the
Concerns. We'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Are there special inspections the first time? Does the health department come out?
Yeah, the health department and the fire department come out. We have a fair number of rules that we have to follow because we have a couple of vendors that are cooking, and they have to be X number of feet apart. And even the vendors that aren't cooking, there has to be a space every X number of feet just for egress and stuff. And we have to have 2 fire extinguishers and things like that. So Julie's been doing the permitting this year. By the way, she said the city permitting is very simple, but the county permitting is a bit of a maze.
We may be coming back.
You're aware.
So anyway, yes, the first day, we asked the vendors to get there a little earlier so that they're all set up when the inspectors show up.
It's fantastic. Mr. Varda, what did, there was no, okay. Do you have any, Mr. Samaron, based on the comments with the inspections and the electricity, do you think we'll be ready to go?
Yes, we are ready. The electricity is there. We just need to turn it on. We do have some additional electricity demands that we have not quite resolved, and there's no easy way to resolving them because there's only 2 poles with outlets, and I think the farmers market would benefit with having access to power all around the space, and we just don't have the infrastructure to provide more electricity.
Yeah, there are two poles opposing the ones that actually have electricity that are not electrified. But yeah, we do have more, we have occasionally had more applicants who want to use electricity, and we just don't have the capacity to accept them. So if you want to add some electricity, it would allow us to broaden our base of vendors.
And the current challenge we have is that the 2 outlets that are being used, on several occasions, they've been tripped by overloads.
Right. So we've told our vendors they can no longer use microwave ovens. We suspect that that's the culprit. But yeah, that's been a pain for us occasionally. And we've got to call the city at noon and say, hey, But
with the improvements we made to the EV charging stations, we added 4 outlets next to the EV charging stations. They're not close enough to set up a vendor there, but if you need quick access to electricity, we have those 4 outlets.
Run a
Might find it useful to charge up things.
extension cord across.
I would not
driveway?
advise that because of the cars. They can roll over on a cord, and you would have to put down some sort of tape or something. to
Charge
secure
the
it.
tablet if she needs to over there.
Yes, yes. One thing looking out into the future that I think will be benefit the vendors and the participants is expanding Wi-Fi out to the parking lot, because you have point of sale systems and credit card transactions that are
Yes,
internet
we've had
enabled.
comments from vendors, and we've had problems, and we're using Verizon, where it's just all of a sudden, there's no linking, so we can't run a Snap transaction. Or in some cases, we don't find out until afterwards, and so we have to eat that cost. So, and then the vendors have commented about that as well, as, I can't get access, I have X, Y, or Z. So that's, is a problem, and hopefully one of the providers can fix that.
Yeah,
Probably not Verizon, but if council was interested, I think we can use our internal fiber network and do some work to expand it. Obviously, would take some resources.
look into that. So with the Green Man Festival, we'll need to kind of keep an eye out, particularly Saturday evening, Sunday morning, because sometimes vans will pull up for the bands, or people will have an RV out there, and so hopefully that we won't run into anything like that this year.
We've done some parking enforcement. We've had at least 6 cars be towed away from the Roosevelt parking lot. So we've been complaint driven in that process. So if complaints come about vehicles that have overstayed the parking limitations, we'll do enforcement.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from council? Yeah, I'm really excited for another season of the farmers market, and I'll definitely be out there. I think all the council will probably be out there as well, patronizing the local farmers and helping to support a great thing in Greenbelt, bringing people together to socialize and to get local food. What more could you ask?
So excited to have fresh produce every Sunday again.
Yeah, I also mentioned that we've been meeting about the Harvest Hub. We will be one of the suppliers of, in theory, our vendors will be suppliers to the Harvest Hub when you kick it off in June. But Councilwoman McKinney came to our meeting Monday to update us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. See you on Sunday.
Thank you.
And let's see. In theory, we got a time block for Greenbelt Boys and Girls Club. I don't see a representative. Is anybody online?
No.
Okay.
They're 2 minutes early.
What are we going to do for 2 minutes?
Well, I think we could go through the recommendation, even if we don't have the representative.
You could tell us your recommendation, Greg. That'd be great.
So, Boys and Girls Club, hold on, okay. FY '26, they received $9,900. Their FY '27 request is for $11,000. The intended use is for scholarships, volunteer and coach training, equipment, facility rentals, league fees, administrative and compliance costs, newer programming. It looks like they want to get into kickball, lacrosse, and golf. And also purchase uniforms. The reviewer's finding was the impact is immersible, promotes a familiar environment. Group is taking steps to rectify a 501c3 issue. Group has some financial reserves and is projecting an operating surplus, so may not need the full amount of support requested. Boys and Girls Club, the $11,000 requested, our recommendation is for $9,100.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They run so many different programs. So, I probably would have asked just with some of the programs like the cheerleading and various programs, just knowing they don't always, the aspiration is there, the planning is there, but sometimes, the attendance is much greater than expected. So,
Well, their staples are basketball, cheerleading. Believe they have track and field. They've partnered with another city for football. I think maybe Beltsville. They didn't play here this past season. We've reached out to the Boys and Girls Club to figure out what their intent is with football. They have a very robust flag football program, and I'm talking about tackle football. So they're trying to still figure out what they're going to do with that, with tackle football. But I think across the county, it's kind of dwindling a little bit. But their flag football program is growing,
So
and we give them time on the Bermuda Field at Schramm Hills Park. Yeah.
I was going to ask, the flag football and cheerleading were at Roosevelt last year?
Do they have it at Roosevelt?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah, there
thought.
is I
There's
believe,
a
I think
girls'
they have a
flag
girls'
team.
flag football team, yeah.
It's a girls' flag
And
team.
we're looking into having that we've been talking to the Boys and Girls Club about having a girls' flag football team as well. That seems to be popping up around the county in the state of Maryland.
I've seen it on the news.
So we want to partner with them on that.
Mayor Pro Tem,
There were a couple of notes in here, Greg, about needing the budget variance page. Is that page that got on the end? Is that the one that's labeled as explanation section? Do you? Yeah.
So we asked them to give us why did the budget number change from one fiscal year to another? I think it's 25% change. So we just, whether it's up or down, we asked for the reason why.
And did we get that from them? Is that the one that's labeled explanation section? It wasn't.
No, if it's not in the packet, then we did not get that from
Okay,
them.
I just am not sure if that's what that page was. It's on page 17 of 8. Well, in that section, is that?
Warren is online,
Oh,
by the
okay.
way. Right. Yeah.
Hey,
He's there. Yep.
good evening. Orrin, are you there?
Good evening, Mayor. How are you?
Good. Welcome. Great to see you.
Great to see you too. I can answer some of the questions that you just asked.
Okay, perfect.
I did the latest question. I did submit an explanation. What the budget variance was is that actually what I requested last year and what I received was a difference of $2,000. So that explains why there's a financial difference, because I asked for 11 and got 9. So that's why that number doesn't look exactly the same for that question.
Okay, thank you. Hey, so just quickly, do you want to just give us a rundown of what's different this year than last year? Things that maybe
Absolutely.
did not work
So-
out so well last year, that different things this year?
So sure, right now, currently we have 20 track athletes. We're practicing at Roosevelt. We run Coach O events, which is the standard registration and process for most of this area. We have 108 flag football players. I believe it was Andrew and Greg talk about female flag footballs. Yes, we are generating more females to play. And so they have been playing. They played last Saturday. They lost their game, but the coaches were super impressed with them because they lost 14-0, but one touchdown was with 5 seconds left to go in the game. So they played really great defense, and they're looking forward to working with them. There was a question about tackle football. The issue with tackle football for us is pretty simple. We can adjust to the budget. If the budget says that we can kind of take it on and challenge it, then we might promote it. If we doesn't, we haven't. The question that we have, and I just met with the coaches yesterday, they told me that they had the ability to generate 2 to 3 tackle football teams. Here's their pitch to me. Their pitch to me was that they believe that tackle football is and basketball are the 2 sports that we offer that appeals to some of the young people that are having the most challenges in our Greenbelt community. And they think that, they're not interested in flag football. They're not, obviously we don't do soccer anymore, and we haven't done cheerleading and competitively for a while, but we do track. And so the difference is, if we're going to pursue it, then I had asked the coaches that I needed solid numbers by a specific date to field enough teams, and that's where they are. So I think, was it Andrew Gregg? you made the excellent point that, you know, we're still trying to fill it out, but that date is coming soon for me in terms of what we can commit to, because that requires coaches, that requires new equipment, like new helmet. Our helmets are now outdated, and they're not in compliance with the standard for safety. And so that's where we are with that. The reason why I asked for 11 again this year is because proportionately we realized that we had to go up a little bit in price for track and field because we had more participants and they wanted to do more things. So we've added javelin and some other things. We always have the capability within Prince George's County Boys and Girls Club. We always have the capability at any point to add kickball if we wanted to, or some of the other sports that's offered through the county. And so we can, and I'm being fully transparent, I can work with whatever number you give me, but if it's low enough, then I can't offer it. That's because we supplement, we in order to appeal to some of the Franklin Square kids, we pretty much bring them on for free.
Hey, thank you so much. So, with uniforms and equipment, old equipment, thank you for making the point about the helmets no longer being in compliance. But what do you do with old equipment? You know,
Yeah, we
shoulder
send it back
pads
to the
and other
company.
things. Yeah.
We send it back to the company. They try and give us a discount. They break down the helmets, take what they need, and reconfigure. That's what we've historically tried to do. And sometimes we've had to eat the helmets and just throw them away. And then, you know, we have the special helmets that are for over larger kids that are customized for their head only. But that's been the thing.
Thank you, thank you. And there's a question just about where you're doing some of the programs. You know, Braden Field was not available last year, and we got a little bit of money, so a couple of years from now, it probably is going to be available. It's going to be in great shape.
Mhm.
But where are you doing some of your activities outside of Greenbelt?
Sherman Hills.
Sherman Hills, yeah.
I think Northfield. Is that right, Greg? For a
North
flag,
Wakefield?
do we use that something?
Northway.
Northway?
Yeah.
What are you doing
And
back
then
there?
Shram Hills, definitely, because I just went there yesterday. And then Roosevelt track and field right now are the those are the two locations. Now for basketball, we've used Doric Kennedy for games. We've used Greenbelt Middle for games. We've also used a couple of the local elementary schools for practice.
Yeah, those are great partnerships. Mr. Varda, what did the review committee have to say about the application this year? And Ms. Pompey, did you want to say something first?
Yes. Can you tell me, you 40%, it says here that 40% of your active participants are Greenbelt residents. So where else are you pulling your members from?
It said 40?
Yeah, it says 40% of the participants are Greenbelt residents.
Of the participants. I don't think that number is accurate. I must have put that down in error. It's more like 60. The other 40% come from like, for example, we've had to partner. Some Prince George's County Boys and Girls Club doesn't have enough players. And so we've done things like combined teams with Beltsville or combined teams with another club so that they can field enough for a team to play. That's usually statistically where the other people come from, but it's definitely not under 50%. So I don't know if that included spectators or whatever the case is, but we're definitely not 40% Greenbelt. We're way higher than that.
Well, that's kind of what I thought. I was surprised to see that number. So it may have just been.
Yeah. So
could have
my
just been a
apologies
typo.
for that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I do have a question for the council and Greg.
No, please go ahead.
My question to you is that I'm dealing with our tax consultant. Our tax consultant says push back for the 501c3 status. Now, because of our application and because it emphasizes 501c3 status, that's what he's recommended. But I asked him to hold off until I came to you guys tonight. Are you guys opposed to or feel any particular way about a 501c7 as opposed to a 501c3?
What's
I'd have to do some research on that. I I couldn't answer that right here.
I don't know that that's a factor one way or the other. I'm not familiar with the 501c7 organization, but I know it's been maybe 3 years since you had the change with the 501c3 designation, and I guess you've been trying to get it back. You were working on that. What is a 501c7? Social club?
It is a social club.
Like fraternal organizations or social clubs or whatever.
Right.
The 3 is for pure nonprofits.
Yeah. I don't think that really has a bearing on us, but would impede
Okay.
your ability to raise funds and grants from other organizations or individuals.
Okay, so we'll move forward. I'll follow his
Hold on
lead.
a minute, because there is something in our rules about being a 501c3.
Policy, the policy is a 501c3. We would have to change that policy.
Okay.
So that's something that we're going to have to talk about more and investigate a little bit more. I don't think we can give you a definitive answer tonight. I think our rules right now say groups need to be a 501c3. So if you change to be a 501(c)(3) that would not be allowable. We wouldn't be allowed to give you funding under our current rules.
They
That's
can't
what I
use the
figured. So
sister
I'm gonna go with a 3
organization.
this year.
They can use
But
a
you
sponsor.
you guys let us know for a 7 in terms of accuracy, what kind of organizations under a 7 versus a 3, as you guys are defining it in the federal government is.
Right. And Mr. Varda was just saying you can still apply, but you'd have to have a financial sponsor or steward to facilitate the grant. I guess that's how it happened last year.
Some groups do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a sister organization or an umbrella organization. Yeah.
Cheers may have done that. Okay.
Oh, I'd like to also add, we partnered with the Elks, and we did our free throw. The Elks have a free throw contest, and we participated this year. That's a new partnership with the PG County Elks, which is on Kenilworth, which is not directly in Greenbelt, but it's really close. And we also have partnered with Howard University, and I'm drawing a blank on one other. So we're trying to expand our partners as well.
That's great. I want to compliment you on continuing to serve in this role for the Greenbelt Boys and Girls Club. You've been doing it for a number of years. I guess your kids kind of moved through the organization. Any other changes just in terms of your board or the folks who you are working with? Do you have a board?
I'm really blessed to have the same people on the board that I've had for the last 10, 15 years. They work like a well-oiled machine. The community knows them. I think because of that, I think we can make a difference. They're also, I am worried because some of their kids are getting older. My son is now 23, but their kids are now getting ready to graduate high school. So there'll probably be some changes in the next few years. But I have a really dedicated board, really dedicated team made up mostly Greenbelt residents that really have committed over the years.
Appreciate that. Council, any other questions or thoughts you'd like to share? Well, hearing none, thank you for your service. Please let council and the city know about these different events. We can, advertise them locally. Council enjoys coming out and
Absolutely, you've always been a faithful participant, so we'll have you come out.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Best to you all.
Thank you. So let's see, what do we have next up?
Hello.
Perfect timing.
Wow, perfect timing.
I'm psychic. I know. I watch you on TV and everything. So how y'all doing today?
Not bad, not bad. So welcome. It's great to have you here. I'm so sorry that I missed opening day. It was quite the event.
Yeah, we missed your fastball going right down the middle of the plate.
A slider.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Hey, so tell us about what's new, what's different. It's 50th anniversary, but in terms of the application, what are you doing different this year than last year, and what do we need to know?
So the main thing that I want to talk about is how much we appreciate the fields with Braden 2 and Braden and the improvements on those fields. We made a huge deal about opening day, bigger than we've ever done before, just in terms of the food trucks and the different groups and the way they marched in, and they handled them all there. And we did raffles where have T-shirts that we're selling and magnets and different things that we're doing to promote the Greenbelt baseball has been part of Greenbelt since 1951 for 75 years. So, and it's as strong as ever. We have about 220 players from different age groups, from from 5 up to around 13, I believe. About 20 different teams of the different levels going on. The season is going really well. We're using a lot of fields. We have great coaches. Our board has grown a lot, getting parents to volunteer to help out. It's gone really well. We've had a lot of different fundraisers, a lot of different activities. So it's been, we also have a lot more sponsors this year, which is another thing that we're really working on doing, is to get outreach. Like, for example, American Legion, all 3 groups have gone through and are some of the major sponsors for the league. Also some other ones as well, that we're working on getting community involvement in what we do. And that's one of the really big strengths that we have. So, like, for example, like I said, we did the raffles on opening day. Every single thing that we raffled, from the Nationals, the Orioles, University of Maryland Athletics, the Greenbelt Rec, providing the bucks for that, the Greenbelt Cinema, all that was donated. So anything we did for the raffles, that's pure profit. That helped out with different things. We have a concession stand up and running both at Braden and at McDonald, selling basically just snacks, drinks, things like that. We're trying to do food trucks. We're going to be hosting a tournament in June, starting around June 27th, for 8 to 10-year-olds, in which we're going to be highlighting the field. The league, the person who runs the entire division in our area of Maryland, named Jeff Smith, he was one of the umpires for one of our early games. And we wanted to make sure, hey, come and see our field and stuff like that. So he's really, he's impressed very, very much. And I want to just say, Greenbelt Rec and Public Works have done a great job of getting everything ready. I think today is a good example of that. With the rain that we had this morning, I was hesitant to wonder if we're going to be able to play today. And then people go like, it's beautiful. Everything right, because we know of other districts who've had issues where it rains just a little bit and it gets muddy and things like that, and they just can't play. Today, all of our games went on as scheduled. And that is because of Public Works and Department of Rec, who go through and work and maintain these fields. So that's one of the main things that we're doing. And I know bingo is going to come up. So I can beat the elephant in the room. We are working in discussions with the swim team to try to figure out how we can work together to do the bingo. To be honest, we have the experience, they have the people. So how can we work together to promote both organizations, to keep it running, to keep it going, to keep it positive? And that's one thing. And I believe, if I remember correctly, when I did the application, I reduced the amount for the bingo, because that was the reason for it. Is I'm not expecting rain. Okay, I'm not allowed to say the R word. I'm not expecting that, but we are expecting our profits to go down, but also, still have the event as a thing, still do everything. My goal is to make it as transparent as, not transparent, I guess, as transparent as possible to people, that, hey, this is still bingo. I'm still going to go here, still going to have the games. I'm still going to have the pull tabs. I'm still going to have all the different parts and make it as good and successful as we possibly can.
People love the bingo. They really do. So, yeah, I loved calling a few numbers. I think all council enjoyed that. But just people are there, rain or shine, pretty much. If it rains, people are still out there.
Well, that's a good example of how we can work with them, because of the different tents. See, the swim team has a lot more access to the tents and things that we can put out there for shade and weather. Is that they have more than we do, and they're a lot more better at putting them up. So that's something that they can provide. And I had the bingo.
You got the bingo equipment.
And I have I know the experience of what it takes to run it.
Hey, Councilmember Niesel?
So I I know you have a bunch of new people on the board this year, which is amazing, and a whole new flock of kids as well. I know that Katrina has been, the new board vice president, has been really, really big on fundraising, and I've been on a couple fundraising calls, and I don't see that really reflected in the budget. And so since this is such a tight year for the city, I really want to know, like, bottom line, how much do you need? Have you readdressed these numbers based on the additional sponsorships, fundraising, and enrollment you have this season?
I can bring that. When I submitted the application, it was based on where I was at the time. I am more than happy to. I agree with you. We've had more fundraising than I expected, more sponsors than I expected, and I got to make sure I say this correctly. I understand the council's concern about budget. As somebody who works with that type of thing, yeah, I understand completely, and I'm just going to be honest because of this. I think our income coming from, especially because of the work with Katrina, who has gone through, she's our new vice president, has gone through and has had fundraisers. We got ones coming up and more, and I'll be glad to share any one with you guys. But yeah, it is higher than I estimated at the time. My estimate on the application was based on the information that I had. If I remember correctly, I did increase the amount from prior years. Because prior years, just to be blunt, we didn't have hardly any.
Right.
And this year we have more. I believe my grant application showed more estimate in it, but to be honest with you, it may be an underestimate based on what the actual is, especially considering we're only at the point right now in May, and like I got an email today about here's another one coming and stuff like that, and go from there. So I understand, and the concerns from the council, absolutely.
That's a good thing. It's great to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If there are no questions from council, yeah, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, there was still a comment in the application about field condition, but was that related to, maybe that's just a legacy from before? There was still a comment in there, but that sounds like it was in the narrative, I think.
Can you remind me what that comment was?
Let me see if I can find it.
It may have been a carryover.
I just wanted to
No.
check and make sure, where was it under? Yeah, I think it's under challenges in the narrative. It still says a significant challenge faced by our organization continues to be the condition of our playing fields. Without proper drainage, the field conditions deteriorate, limiting our ability to use the fields after poor weather conditions.
So let me.
Was that was that because that was before the new field had opened, or is that still an issue?
It is not an issue now. So, Braden 2 and McDonald was historically bad for drainage, just in terms of, and as you can see right now, like I said today, both McDonald and Braden were in great condition and stuff like that. So yes, that is not a major concern anymore with our fields, and I will definitely correct that from any future applications. No, it is a concern from ours to the fact of when we need to pay, for example, in the fall or in other times, we have to use, just because of the number of teams and the number of games and everything else, we end up using county fields, which we have to pay for. So there is that concern. But I do want to make sure it is very clear that anytime I talk about that on there, we have no concerns at all about Public Works. We're very happy with the way both Rec and Public Works have done to support this league. And we're very thankful for that.
The other thing that's listed under there was the link to the light poles and the charging for the light poles. Is that still an issue?
An issue for years, and I seem to remember trying to convert that back over to the city was very difficult. So under my direction to Patrick, I said, look, just build it into your into your budget for your request, and they'll just pay it. I don't know why it was set up like that. I don't understand when it happened, but they get the bill for the light pole there at McDonald Field for some reason.
It ties in with the power at McDonald in the area. So we work together.
Yeah,
to
we
I guess-
we figured it out.
I guess if we ever get our Pepco, if we ever get the light pole, the light fixtures turned over and have more control over them ourselves, I guess maybe then we'll be able to solve this problem.
Absolutely. And for right now, we will work together to figure out what it is. I mean,
Where's the meter?
the amount is small enough
Yeah.
that it's not, you know, it is something that would be good to be addressed, but it's something that there are workarounds.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that have a meter?
I would assume it does, but I don't know. I have not, to be honest with you, all the times I've been there, I've never seen one. So to limit the cost when, you know, like during our off season, we go there and we turn off the power completely. But then like there's the other part of it is like the city did install heaters in that building for the winter to keep the pipes not from bursting, which we also appreciate. But like during, during the off season, during the summer, we just turn off the power and go from there.
And the bill varies over time? Okay.
But it's usually like maybe 100 a month, something to that effect.
Have to have a meter. Well, I'm curious now because we've been paying for streetlights that don't belong to the city, and we're sorting that with Pepco, and so we're right. We've done the inventory to make sure that we pay only for the lights that we're responsible for.
If it help, either somebody from our organization, or we can go up there and go look and see what information we can get. Yeah, I've never thought about it, but I can look and get back.
Yeah, and if you can send me a copy of a statement, and we can track it, start tracking the account number.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're also negotiating energy contracts, so we've been able to save money on utilities by entering in energy contracts.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely work with you. Be our pleasure.
Okay, Ms. Pope, did you have your hand up?
Oh, no, thank you, no.
Okay, Mr. Varda, do you want anything in the review panel's comments that you'd like to share?
The FY26 operating support was for $8,400. The FY27 request is for $10,500. The intended use of the request is for umpires, insurance, uniforms, website charges, replacement of baseball equipment, safety gear. $500 would go toward the Pepco bill. Reviewers' findings were well established and important part of the community. They've been active for 75 years. They have many volunteers and stable finances, have some financial reserves, and may not need funding in the amount requested. Patrick, you weren't here for the beginning of the meeting, but this year, the funding requests for all the groups came in at close to $200,000, and our budget is $122,000. So we had to do some maneuvering to make every group fit the budget. So for Greenbelt Youth Baseball, your request for $10,500 has been reduced to $8,700, would be our recommendation.
Very much.
Thank you very much. You're doing a great job. I'm really encouraged with the fundraising, with the condition of the fields. That should help raise morale. And just so you mentioned food trucks. The concession stands at both locations should help because they weren't available the past few years. With the food trucks, did that help? And you said you were working on that. Maybe as an additional, if a food truck was willing to give you a percentage of their proceeds, would you?
They did. So on opening day, I believe there were 3 or 4 different food trucks that were available then. And one of the ideas Katrina can speak better to this, and she managed a lot better than I did. But I do believe they gave us a small percentage of their profit or proceeds from it. I believe that our plan is when we do the tournaments in June to do that again, and and like in the past years we used some of the local restaurants here to help provide food as well to to come down and sell. Like we want to promote the area as much as I can. But yes, we did do that. We did, like I said, we did not have it available because, like for example, at Braden right now we're able to use the shed that's right behind home plate.
Right.
That had drainage issues in the past and a little bit issues about access that has been addressed, that it's a lot better now. So now we use that as one of our main snacks. It's what it's built for. It's what it's there for, and it's awesome. So, but that's one of the things that we're doing and plan in future years is to expand it even more.
That's fantastic.
We used to grill up
Yeah.
burgers and hot dogs. I don't know how we were able to do that. Now that I think about it, like was that? Probably we shouldn't have, but you know. Years ago, guys.
Past the statute of limitations. I think you can say you grilled without a permit.
Forgiveness and permission, that type of deal. But yeah, I do agree that the way we're doing it now is much better than healthier. Yeah, safer. I think probably that might be the best way. Safer than the way it does in the past.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
So anyway.
And the city does have a food handling workshop coming up. I think it's
do.
probably filled.
Oh, it's got a wait list.
Yeah, it's got a wait.
Yeah. We've had some parents who have talked about that they have experience with it, that they can do stuff like that. That's something that we're trying to build as we go along. So, slow and steady, but we'll get there. But we're working on it.
Okay.
So
Put us down for a memorial bingo game for Rick again this
I will
year.
do that.
Yeah,
I will definitely
thank
do
you.
that. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Patrick.
Next up, we got Babe Ruth baseball. I don't see. Is anybody online for Babe Ruth?
No, I don't see anyone.
Well, we could either go ahead and do that, or I think we have Grace here right now. We go rotate to Grace. If somebody from Babe Ruth shows up, we can do that.
I mean, we're on schedule for Grace right now, or no, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. We can always flip-flop if he shows
Yeah,
up.
sure. Mr. Gervasi, welcome.
So, I'm also here for Gate, so.
Well, gate is next time, right? We're not talking about gate tonight. Gate is, I think, next week.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So Grace.
Microphone a little bit closer.
So Greenbelt Refugee Aid, we started 4 years ago. I started it with a petition to City Council to bring 2 to 3 families here. You guys, out of discretionary funds, gave us $20,000. And last year gave us some money, and the year before, I believe. We've raised over $120,000 for not only taking care of the families, which actually this month, the third family is no longer, we're no longer responsible. They're responsible for themselves. First family, she got married, lives in Bethesda. The second was Tatiana, who went back to Ukraine. We had actually sponsored her daughter, her youngest daughter, but she decided to stay there. And Tatiana has just been amazing with doing the work that we're doing in Ukraine. Bringing the refugees was only half of our mission on the 501c3. It was to help refugees in the countries. And we've been doing a little bit in Lebanon too, but I'll get to that later. And the other half has been to helping people who lost their homes and possessions due to constant indiscriminate Russian bombing. We developed a network of trusted Ukrainian volunteers, and they go to shelters, orphanages, and in some cases hospitals, and to help in 4 different cities. And with the demise of U.S. aid, this kind of help is really, I can't tell you how appreciated they are. Appreciative. I have dozens of thank yous, and I had a poster up and I could just show you. I could make a 2-hour film about it. Right now, and some of you are at the MPs that came, the members of Parliament. We had 5 members of Parliament, and a few of you got to meet them and meet with them. I've been working with one of them about bringing like cultural exchange, the sister city idea. I arranged a internship with a NASA subcontractor. So if one of them is an astronomer, that like a grad student, they can come and in fact one of one of the astronomers with this particular company is Ukrainian, and she's going to put up whoever we bring. So they'll be hosting them, and they'll be working it over at the University of Maryland on, let's see, what's it called? Exoplanet occultations.
Yeah.
And that's a familiar one. And V-light, something or other, where you look through the telescope at ultraviolet. I don't know. I took some astronomy, but I kind of get the idea. But in any event, we would like to bring two this summer. We would like to consider becoming a sister city with at least one of two. There's a city called Voznesensk, and there's a city called Obukiv. They're both about the same size as Greenbelt. We would have a cultural exchange, and it's amazing how much culture, it's different from ours. When we, last year, Tatiana Orlova worked for she got a job with the city rec department, the summer camps. And while we were coaching her as to how to, apply, and she worked in so many different places. She worked for the gas station. She worked with mostly with the kids. She got a full-time job with the kids, but she wanted to go back to Ukraine. She felt she'd be more helpful there, and she's been amazing. But they had all these games that you never heard of. I mean, just really a variety, and I don't think she got to teach any of them because she was working with the real little ones. She's a grandmother herself. But they can bring those kinds of things here. And I've been looking at artwork from Ukrainian orphans, and it's amazing. It's amazing how beautiful it is. And so we're going to, at the Labor Day Festival, I want to bring in Ukrainian orphan artwork to our Labor Day Festival. So anyway, that's just a couple of things.
Okay, and Pro Tem.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to get to meet those Ukrainian parliament members, and I think the idea of pursuing a sister city relationship is a good idea, is an interesting idea. However, just to be clear, there are not currently any refugees housed in Greenbelt that Grace is supporting.
Currently, we support Victoria and her son Svatoslav until the end of this month.
Okay,
And
but
then they're on their own.
okay, but so for next there are not. But after that, there aren't any currently living in Greenbelt.
No, we're not going to bring in anybody. The only thing, like I said, we're going to bring in a couple exchange students, but that shouldn't cost anything. The only cost that would benefit the city directly, besides being friendly or getting to know them better, is this sister city thing. It's about a $1,300 a year fee, and there might be some other things that we would want to spend money on to bring to Greenbelt. But I know that the rules are spend it in Greenbelt and use it for Greenbelt. We live in an environment now where we don't have U.S. aid. $80 billion, I think, that was spent on benefiting all sorts of people has resulted in nothing spent and, rotting food and medicines on docks, and the estimate 750,000 kids in Africa dead thanks to this policy. So we can pick up the slack a little bit.
Well, and I guess, though, the concern I have is that the request before us is to support people that aren't here. And if a sister city program, the funding should be part of a different request or should come from a different place. And although these are very worthy causes, I don't think they fit. I mean, some of the other things that I know you're doing that are very worthy, but don't fit in the city's contribution structure. So I'm not sure, I mean, to be quite frank, I don't think this fits as a contribution request this year. I think if we're going to do the sister city, we need to do that as a separate item and fund it in a different way. Just because there aren't the rent for people who, that's what the request was for, and there isn't anybody living in Greenbelt that goes towards.
Yeah, that's a pretty expensive proposition. You guys gave us 20 grand, but we spent 4 times that. And that was all from private donations and so forth. So, it's and plus the families that we brought, none of them spoke English. So we had to teach them English, so that was quite a,
Very valuable work.
Test.
I think it's just a question of should that come from the city's budget? Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, that's, however you guys want to handle it,
You're doing incredible work. So your board, same board structure, and do you work as a board collectively, or?
Yeah,
because
it's a
things
board,
have
it's-
changed so much, over 2-3 years. It's just-
It's changed 3 times. I mean, the original board that I put together when I first created the 501c3 had 2 Russians on it. Both had worked for NASA. One had a family member in Kyiv that was, Natalia Buzlakova, and neither of them wanted to bring in anybody that couldn't speak English. They just thought it was way too hard. And, we took on the task. We have an English professor, and we've been tutoring them regularly, but we won't be doing that. But some of the same board members are the same. Peter Wasikowski, who you got to meet, the translator, who actually translates for Zelensky, as well as these members of parliament, is also on the board now, so.
Yeah, you've done some amazing work. Mr. Varda, what did the review committee have to say?
FY26 operating support was for $5,000. The FY27 request is for $10,000. The intended use of the requested funds is partial rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Greenbelt. Reviewers' findings are a unique opportunity for Greenbelt, which may broaden and expand into the future. Timely in their support of undocumented residents, may not be well aligned with the mission of the Recognition Group program. Some concern about the continued feasibility of providing housing support. The organization needs more time to define itself. Cost is too high in relation to resident benefit.
7,900. I looked it up.
So the request is for $10,000. Given the reduction, the recommendation is for $7,900 for FY27.
Okay. Councilmember Fritz.
I think, and I understand, reading from the memo, there's been some alterations to the evaluation process, and it says, it makes it more difficult for a year-to-year comparison. But just looking at the spreadsheet, some groups are getting I think this is like a 40-something% increase over their last budget, while others are seeing 50% decreases, if I'm reading the chart correctly. And it seems a lot is motivated by how much people requested, and that I think inflated a lot the overall pool. So I think that requesting more changes the distribution. So specific to this, I want to note that last year was, I believe, yes, $5,000, and now $79,000. So that's a 40-something% increase.
Oh, yeah, it's an increase compared to last year. Yeah.
I think Frank requested the same amount last year. We just didn't give it to them. Yeah.
Mr. Javasi, let me ask you a question. Just in terms of your commitments, in order to run the program, the first and second year, you had to make commitments to a GHI to actually lease the apartment.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So are those ongoing commitments?
Yeah, well, they're still available.
Do you have to continue to pay something going forward this year?
No, their board of directors just gave us permission to rent for somebody else, to put somebody else in there as long as we monitored it. And it worked out fine. I'm sure they wouldn't, if we were to bring somebody in, they would be okay with that, I'm sure.
Are there any other outstanding commitments that you have for, just, because I know you and the other volunteers are passionate about, doing this program, and it's so important. It's such a life-changing opportunity for the individuals that benefit. So have you made any other ongoing commitments that you would have to, maintain, even without having anyone here right now?
No, I mean, there's no encumbrances or anything on us. That's, there was one other thing I did put on the application, and that's that ICE has a nice holding cell right over here in Greenbelt Park. They've been pretty quiet, thanks to the bad press, but, you know, it wouldn't take too much to go start raiding people's apartments. And as far as I'm concerned, a refugee is somebody who needs refuge. And it doesn't matter who's hauling you away, but who's left here might need some refuge. So I've talked a few times with city staff about that, but it's possible that we could help. I mean, we do have immigration, at least a few immigration people that we've worked with. We've worked with Lutheran Social Services for 4 years. You know, they've been cut way back, you know, but they still have skills and they still have, we still do know immigration attorneys. And it's possible that we could help with residents, you know, that have, I've been told that there's as many as 1,000 undocumented or semi-documented residents in Greenbelt. And that's from the best guess, you know. And so if they get back to, you know, get back to work, it's something we're all going to have to face. So it's something we could possibly help with, you know. And so that was, I did put that on the application. I kept it kind of, you know, a little bit apart from our main message, but we're still helping what are essentially refugees, you know.
Well, thank you for your passion. Thank you for your service, your dedication, the folks that are working with you, and just, you know, having an open heart and just going beyond words to put things in action here in Greenbelt. It's not a rare thing, but you certainly exemplify the best of Greenbelt in terms of reaching out.
Well, one thing the Ukrainians can give us, whether they come here or not, and since we're fighting off our own oligarch, and they threw their own oligarch off back in 2014, and they've been fighting ever since, and so they can possibly show us a couple of tricks too. So anyway, but thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Hey, how you doing? Actually, why don't you go ahead and pull
Yeah.
up a chair?
Yeah, because I think we're a little ahead of schedule,
Do
so.
we have anyone else coming?
Missed someone, so if you're ready,
The
We're
last
ready.
person is Babe Ruth, and they
No,
were
I
supposed
meant, did they have anyone else coming?
Did you, were you expecting Kim or any, or is it just you, Paul? So, no,
Yeah, right. Then we get to the
it's not just you. It is,
It's
yeah.
you.
It is you.
Paul.
Yeah, Paul, thank you so much. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Just
Sure. I'm the co-chair of the Greenbelt Business Alliance.
fantastic. So just if you just briefly want to describe your application, what you're looking for, and what's different this year than past year, and what, you know, outcomes from funding last year.
Sure. So this year we're applying for a $5,000 grant so that we can put on another business gala like we did in early 25. We did want to do one this year, but with all the business changes and everything that was going on, we decided it probably wasn't appropriate to do it. We did apply for a grant last year, which we haven't spent yet, because we thought we might have something in the community to spend it on, but we haven't so far, so we may not spend that. So yeah, so we've applied for the grant so that we could pay for a venue, and this was quite a big event. We invited a lot of people. We had people from PG County come, from the Chamber of Commerce. We had a lot of Greenbelt businesses there. We did an award ceremony where people in Greenbelt could vote for three types of company, whether it was their favorite company or the company with the best customer service. And we did that presentation, and we had a nice food layout and everything. And I think everybody who came enjoyed it. We got a lot of good feedback. So we wanted to repeat that again, particularly since this year we've been doing monthly events, speaker series or social, and we've been getting more and more people kind of coming to these events, more and more businesses coming. So it's definitely we're gaining a lot of momentum this year. So to have the gala in January would be a great start to next year for us and for the city.
So the date of the gala would be in January, February?
It would be late January. We haven't finalized the date yet.
So looking at your application, it's just with the treasurer who's listed, Miss Reza, I don't think she's not here anymore, is she?
Well, she's still involved with the GBA. She's running her business out of Silver Spring, and she still will have she'll still have a practice here in Greenbelt.
Okay. Any other changes with the board or?
We brought on Jill Connor as the secretary, and she's been doing a lot of work with the board and pushing things forward. I think you've all probably met her at some point because she's getting very involved with the companies here. It's great.
Right.
And we also added Tariq Islam, who was with the Crown Plaza. He's now moved on to do his own realty, but he's kind of joining us to help with membership and things like that.
Good. So, with your mission and kind of looking at outcomes, certainly bridging the gap and bringing together business owners and entrepreneurs is something that is important. So how do you measure, looking back 2 years ago, I was at the gala. I think most of council was also there. It was a nice event. It was pretty well attended. But, just kind of looking at membership and looking at where you'd like to be at the end of this project, how would you measure success?
I think right now we have, we have 34, technically have 34 paid members. Some of those are overdue, so we've got to catch up with those. I think for the rest of this year, what we'd like to do is really solidify our membership and how that works, and make sure that people are renewing, and also do some events and things that differentiate members from other members of the business business community who come to our events, but they haven't actually joined. So we want to make membership more valuable to the people who join. So we want to do some members-only events. We want to have some promotional stuff that they can use to say we are a member of the GBA. We're thinking about this. But now that we're getting more momentum again in building people there, we want to actually solidify the foundation of the GBA.
Sounds very important. And so with the gala, with the city's support, and with how much would from sponsorships and ticket sales, how would you anticipate the cost or of this kind of an event?
So I think we're estimating that we might get 8,660 in ticket sales. We did well last time we did it. We did group sales, and that helped boost everything a lot. We can get some, hopefully we could get some sponsors as well. We do have, we have about $15,000 in our bank accounts. Some of that is allocated to match the current year's grant if we use it in the time we've got left. So that's kind of allocated to one side. So we've got about 10,000 to 12,000 that we can support everything, as well as putting this on with the grant.
Makes sense. Council, do you have questions or thoughts? Yes, Councilmember Fritz.
Thanks for coming in. Just navigating the website a little bit. I see there's 24 members listed. Do you have like a target for how many members you'd like to expand by? Or is that still kind of early in your kind of planning?
I don't think we've actually talked about a number at this point, but I guess 50 would be a nice number to get to, and should be attainable, whether it's actually this year we get it to there or soon after. there's enough businesses in Greenbelt and around Greenbelt that we should be able to get to that. And that would give us a really healthy base to keep things going. And we'd like to build in some extra stuff like mentoring and some classes for building businesses and things like that. That was our original goal. But we need to grow the membership. We need to get the board a bit bigger. We need more people involved because there's, with only a small board, we're all doing everything, and it's a lot.
Of course. Yes, well, thank you for holding down all that work. I know it's hard when you're on a small board and you're doing everything, but very excited to see where things go because I know that our city is brimming with potential.
Councilmember McKinney.
This may be a question that you might not be able to answer right now, or maybe Mr. Varda could answer, but I was just curious how many members of the Business Alliance also work with the Learn to Earn program. So I'm wondering if there's a partnership there, because that's another connection that I think is a nice connection. That
happens. We are taking on a Learn to Earn intern to help us with the back end of the database and help us work out some of the membership stuff and help us clean up the city directory, which we've been saying we were going to do for a long time now.
And a little more background, the founding instructor for the business curriculum was a GBA founding board member, right?
Yes, we've been talking, Therese and I have been talking about this.
Councilmember Niesel.
Thanks. I know that you and I have talked kind of about how what the city might have expected from GBA might not have actually been aligned with what GBA was founded to do. And I know that you guys have had some growing pains, honestly. It's been a lot harder to grow than you had anticipated. And I wondered if, given those challenges, you had kind of readdressed or refocused on what your mission right now is, or if you have like crystallized that personally, just so we have a better idea of like what to expect from Greenbelt Business Alliance over the next year.
Sure. I don't think our mission has changed. I think what happened is after the first year that we really got things going, we changed the board. Most of the board members didn't have time to do the work. Things went very quiet. We didn't run regular meetings. We then got to the next change of board, which some of us got back on, and now we're really, in terms of the mechanism of the alliance doing stuff and getting out and meeting people and things like that I think is getting better. The city directory and the website was a big thing, and we knew it was before we took it on, and there was a little bit of pressure for us to take that on, but we did. The biggest bugbear is really, not bugbear, but the thing that we've talked about a lot is the fact that the city directory was loaded with 2,000 companies from these lists that were found online. You know, there were legitimate lists, but they hadn't been cleaned up. And if you put bad data into something, it's going to be hard to clean it up. And that's part of why we've brought on the intern, because I can work with the intern and she can help me start working out which companies are really there and which ones aren't. So I think we're turning a corner on that, but until we actually get doing it, I don't know.
No, that's good to hear. Thank you for your candor. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, the website looks great. It's a beautiful website, and it was ambitious to try and populate it. And, you know, there's constant churn in the business community, especially with smaller businesses or businesses that may, you know, they say they're in Greenbelt, but really, because they're doing business or trying to do business here, but really they're someplace else. So taking on the intern is a great thing.
I think we also, sorry, just one more thing on that. I think we also, when we get the new economic development manager in, we need to sit down and talk about what the connection is between the city database and our database because they're slightly different things. You don't want to sync them because you don't want our bad data going into your system and vice versa. So we just need to sit down and have a technical talk about what it exactly is our relationship between the city and.
Yeah, of course. Oh, well, thank you, thank you. Mr. Varda, what did the review committee have to say about the application?
Sure. FY26, Greenbelt Business Alliance received a project grant in the amount of $3,300. The FY27 request is for $5,000. The intended use for the requested funds are for an awards gala. The reviewers' findings were recognition may boost economic activity, benefiting individual businesses and the greater community. However, less well aligned with the mission of the Recognition Group program, unable to assess the number of Greenbelt residents who would be served due to some missing information, financial reserves available, city funding may not be needed in the amount requested. One of the panelists wondered whether this organization might itself offer fundraising support to other groups in the future. So that was their finding. I should tell Mr. Ricketts, we had the requests. We had requests of around $200,000 for this fiscal year, and our budget was $122,000. So we had to do some maneuvering. Greenbelt Business Alliance, our recommendation is to fund the GBA for $4,000.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ricketts. Thank you for all you're doing in the city. You're doing quite a bit. You're just involved in a lot of different organizations. It's really great that you take the time to do these things. Thank you. Well, any further comments on this? I guess we should circle back and talk about Babe Ruth baseball before we wrap up.
Thank you, Paul. Paul, thank you.
All right. Babe Ruth, not sure where Ian is. He's usually pretty punctual, and to the best of my knowledge, he's never missed one of these meetings, so hopefully everything's okay. Greenbelt Babe Ruth Baseball in FY26, they received an operating grant in the amount of $2,800. Their FY27 request is for $3,500. The attendant use of the requested funds is for registration fees, uniforms, practice equipment, and umpire fees. The reviewer's finding is important to the community, very well aligned with Recognition Group mission and good value. Given all the information, staff recommends Greenbelt Babe Ruth Baseball is funded at $2,900.
Okay. Any council members have any questions about the application or about the program?
No, but I'm worried that he tried to get in the building. I mean, it noted that he was going to be here online, but I'm worried that he tried to get in the building and couldn't get in.
Call me or something.
Yeah,
He has
yeah.
my number. Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Varda, so we've got the panel of individuals that were affiliated with our advisory boards who actually reviewed the materials, and a second cut staff actually well, there's the phone right there, but that's somebody else. So, and staff reviewed the recommendations, and can you briefly describe this, the framework that you used that mirrored the State Arts Council?
Oh, so the budget tier adjustment, credit goes to Nicole DeWald for this. She's our our department expert on grants, and we had a $77,000 hole that we were trying to fill, so we had to come up with different. I think last year we could just use the scoring tier adjustment given the percentage on the score, but this year we had to have another layer in there. So the budget, let me see here. So smaller organizations' requests were preserved up to the original maximum of 50% of their own budget for the proposed fiscal year. As budgets increased, percentage funding caps gradually decreased. At the highest budget tier, over $100,000, the maximum possible award was capped at 20% of the organizational's proposed budget. These adjustments brought the total request down to $149,000. Most of the applicants' requests were unaffected by this. I think there's 4 total that got affected by this tier. And there's a table in the memo that shows that. So that brought the $77,000 difference down to $26,000 and some change. And then the scoring adjustment, that was given the score that the grant review panel gave them in the aggregate, they fell into a percentage, and most everyone fell into that 83% tier of their requested fund, and that allowed us to give you a balanced budget.
That seems to be a good way of kind of approaching the delta between what was requested and what we actually budgeted. Councilmember Pompey.
Yes, thank you so much. And I know you and I discussed that briefly when I first got in here because I was curious as to how you came up with the math, how you mathed it to work. Here's my concern, just looking over these numbers, and this doesn't have to do with anyone specific here tonight, but for example, some of these numbers I look at, like Gate, who we gave $3,300 to last year. This year they asked for $65,000. That's a huge increase. And even though it's adjusted because of the cap, that's still a massive increase in the grant that they would be getting this year. Should we accept that? Should we accept that proposal? And I worry about the organizations that have really just jacked up their funding requests to a point where maybe some of the other organizations are, it's to their detriment. And I just have some concerns about that. And the other thing just to mention is that they weren't here tonight, is that the Greenbelt Art Center, I noticed that this year they asked for what we gave them last year, which was less than they requested. And I'm not saying that I disagree with the funding model or what you did here, but it sort of ends up being they're going to get about 50% of what they requested. And again, I'm not saying I disagree with that, but I'm just wondering, do you tell them in advance? Because I just feel like if they're sitting here and we're like, you're only getting $16,000, that's just, as someone who's worked for nonprofits, and that would be a very big shock to me to hear that I was getting so much less than the previous year. And again, I'm not saying I disagree with it. I just am wondering if we need to consider that organization maybe having a pre-conversation with them so that they're ready and they don't sort of have to come in here and have it be quite as difficult for them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to.
I believe this report was sent out to all the groups,
Oh,
but I
okay.
will make sure that is done tomorrow.
Good, because
so
I
they'll
would
have this
feel so
report
bad
prior.
if the first time they were learning of it was when they're looking at all of these people.
And remember, this is a recommendation to council. Council
Of
can
course, absolutely.
do as
Absolutely. So anyway, I just wanted to raise, those were my concerns when I look at these numbers. And I, of course, appreciate all the work you guys did getting to where we are. But, you know, and the Refugee Aid Committee, I agree with Kristen. I have some concerns about giving them a large sum of money when they're really not meeting the purpose of recognition groups. So anyway, that's all.
Yeah, I would caution just in terms of being even-handed. You know, we have another day of interviews. I think we should get into the real meat of things after we talk to everybody and find out, you know, if we have some wiggle room where some additional funds could be shifted from one to another. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, well, and that's, I think, that's what I was going to say, is I think this is where there's the sort of even-handed recommendation, but this is where council's judgment comes in. And I personally, quite frankly, I'm going to suggest that we do not fund the Grace at all this year, because I don't think, last year they at least had some people, and we can decide which other organizations that money goes to, but it just doesn't seem like what they are doing doesn't fit with the purpose of this money. And so I think that's great organization. I'll consider, I should probably make a personal donation, but I don't think city money should be going to that. And so that would be some money. But I agree that when they ask for these huge amounts, like Gate ask, and we haven't seen Gates yet, it does skew things. And I don't know how we adapt that in your process, Greg. But yeah.
I have an idea. So, one of the things about grant seeking, there's a strategy, right? I think you've heard from me personally say, hey, I think this is the ceiling, this is where I want to be because I think it's fundable, and so we're pushing the envelopes, right? Unless we provide specific guidelines of what the ceiling is going to be,
Yeah.
and you're going to expect this variation that what Councilmember Fritz said. Some folks know that they're going to come. There's this percentage cap, and so they're going to target a higher number.
And we do have a ceiling for the project grant. Maybe
Right.
we do need to have a ceiling for the operating
Yeah, maybe
grant.
that's
And-
part of it.
and-
Maybe it needs to be a ceiling for the operation grant.
Have this discussion during the summertime and figure out how to amend this policy.
Appreciate that. I think that might answer my concern, doing something like that in the future. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for that.
And
If it's based on the percentage of their budget, the way that calculation was.
correct, and I think you're seeing the variation of organizations that are 75 years old to 4 years old, and there's different levels of expertise and resources that the organizations have. So that's hard to account for because they're all community-based organizations. They're pulling from whatever volunteers that they can get, and many have exceptional volunteers in putting the package together. Others struggle, and I think some of the applications you're not seeing are from organizations that are doing great work, but they don't have those resources to put together an application to get one before you.
That's so true. Councilmember McKinney and then Councilmember Fritz. And
Thank you. I was wondering if maybe, and this is also for next year, it seems like the types of requests that they're making really span the gamut, right? So some are asking for direct programmatic and operating expenses. Others are like equipment. Some of them are, supplies and media. And so I'm wondering if there's a way we can look at that, because when we're looking at direct impact in the community, we want to make sure it's going literally to, especially when we have budget constraints. We want to make sure that the residents are able to benefit directly from that at that time. So maybe there's a way to look at that and maybe you did. So my apologies if that is part of your well documented equation process.
There's a metrics that we have used is the number of participants being served and the estimate of dollar per participant. Greg?
That varies. For example, like the Greenbelt Boys and Girls Club, $10,000, they serve 300 kids. That looks really good on paper, where you have an organization that may not have that many participants, but they get $5,000, but it looks much higher than what it is per person. So I think what we should probably do is take the policy and information guide and have a work session, take a look at the whole thing, and see if we want to make any amendments to it for next year.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
I think it's time to do that.
Yeah, and last year, council had suggestions, and we made additional improvements. We made it abundantly available on our website through various different methods. So obviously, the participant pool is evolving, and so should we.
I will say, there's a lot of groups that have been in this program for a long time, but I want to be clear that seniority was not a factor in scoring. We wanted to make sure that the program, is available to all groups, new groups, old groups, everybody else, so it's an equal footing.
Another dynamic that we're working against is the constraint of available funding.
Councilmember Fritz.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we're going to have a more global discussion on the process. I think, once we get through this budget, I think that's really important because, just my notes, but one thought is, we are doing a little bit of apples to oranges. These are very, very different things we're trying to fund. I would like to see, obviously there's the rubric, which is great, but I would also like to see pushing harder for performance metrics. Like when I asked about, number of members you want to bring in, right? That's like, something measurable over time so we can see what is the actual purpose of the investment that we're making in these groups, because we want to really help those groups that are showing that they can continue to grow their capacity. And I also think that, to the point about access, I think that really brings back to a lot of discussions we're having around diversity, equity, and inclusion as well. Making sure that the city is proactively doing what it needs to do. We're reaching out and giving the assistance necessary so that groups that have the capacity but might not be familiar with this kind of process can actually, be eligible. I think is going to be an important discussion moving forward as well. But yeah, I'm very I want to see over time, really tracking the kind of a performance-based way of tracking these groups and what they are trying to do and how they're trying to expand their vision, utilizing city resources.
Councilmember Pope.
Yes, so I agree with Councilman Pompey and Mayor Pro Tem Weaver on Grace. And I'm also, and I really take the comments that the committee made very serious, and I really do appreciate those. We don't have the whole picture yet because we still have some more groups to go, but the Businesses Alliance too, this evening, it was interesting, but if all the funding just goes to a gala, so I'm kind of worried about that. That was, for me, that kind of was a little sticky point. But I think we just have to wait till the end and see what's actually left from this budget, from this constrained budget, and then make decisions and see where we can maybe, move funding around if needed.
I will say from a recreation standpoint and leisure activity standpoint that the $100,000 or so the city spends on these groups saves the city hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, because if, for example, if the recreation department had to run the Boys and Girls Club, the $10,000 you spend on the Boys and Girls, it would be well over $100,000 you'd have to spend for us to take that on.
Because of the people.
Because of the people,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And certainly these requests are apples and oranges, and the different types of programs, and that discretionary council funding, that's what we actually used to fund Grace the first time around. It was an extraordinary circumstance. There have been other occasions where a well-established group, their application just was not up to snuff.
That
So we were able
happens
to
occasionally.
we're able to kind of fill in.
Yeah.
So having some discretionary funding, there is a real purpose, a very specific purpose that was in mind when that was created. So, Mr. Varda, thank you for bringing forward and speaking on behalf of the panel. Please, I guess we have one more session, but really appreciate the panel. I wish there was something more we could do for them.
Yeah, it's an added lift to their volunteerism already, and we appreciate that. We did give them nice snacks at the meeting, if that means anything. But I also want to thank Nicole DeWald and who, she's our in-house grant expert and helps very much putting this report together, and Kathy Pracht, who is our administrative coordinator, and she does the yeoman's work working with these groups, collecting the applications, making sure they get reimbursed, setting up this meeting, the schedule, and Kathy is the first line of defense. They all meet with her first, so she does a lot of work.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding up their work like that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem?
One stray thought that I just wanted to pass along while I was thinking about it, thinking about the extra work that group does, the review board. Maybe we can do something when we do the advisory board and committee dinner and recognize them separately as with some extra little certificate or something at the very least as part of the dinner, which is what, usually October?
I'll be sure those names are shared with
Yeah,
the
and I know
administration.
Shania is one of the ones who plans that, so I'm just putting that little worm in your ear. Not literally, though.
And that's what I was thinking, Bree. Hey, I do have one information item before we wrap up. Please go ahead.
This is sort of, sorry. Mr. Varda, if you could just get with Mr. Summeron and look over sort of work session openings and find when that works for you, I'm assuming. So just because I would really like to work on this summer, I don't want us to get to a point where it's like next fall and it's budget season and we haven't done it. So
We,
I would love it. And just suggest, we have some open dates, and I think what works for you, and that would be great.